Hi, this is Naomi,
Hello, this is Jose.
and this is our second video of our video series called Happy Slaves No More. Let's start with our happy slave life.
Yeah. So I guess I can I can talk a little bit about it. Why we called it Happy Slaves. I think it was just our lifestyle that we had during all this time. We were accumulating debt, and but we were happy, like thinking like we can do a lot of different things. You know, we have certain lines of credit now, so we're now all this time in this time of our point in life, we were already more like stable, more better, like a better job, kind of more stable job. So we were able to like kind of like spend and like had like higher credit limits and all that. So yeah, it was just like our lifestyle. So we were happy.
We're so happy we're going to Mexico.
Vacations, different vacations. We'll go to visit her family in Mexico.
We bought our $50,000 car.
Yeah, we got a $50,000 card. We would I remember like my wife would she likes to spend, and I remember her like just getting stuff for the house, like just whenever like certain things. Would
I would
ideas or whatever.
Different seasons. So for spring, I would have like yellow. No, for spring, it was like yellow, and then for summer it was like an orange color. Like I would change my whole living room to fit that season. So if it was Christmas, everything was like red and
So I think our lifestyle was just kind of very not like, it wasn't like a crazy lifestyle or anything, but it was just like a lot of things that we would just finance, and we would figure out later on how to take care of those payments and bills and all that. We would eat out maybe like 4-5 times in the week. And it wasn't like, oh, well, let's eat at McDonald's or whatever. No, it was like we were eating at restaurants. So you know, and then we had all the kids, and just like, you know, so yeah, you know,
we were just spending so much, and using all those credit cards. I remember we sat down one day and I was like, wait, like how much are you spending on Starbucks?
Yeah. So we were just like, I don't know what
every day he would go, before going to work, he would go to Starbucks.
Yeah, so it was already a habit. So I would go to work, and I'd just stop at Starbucks, and I would get coffee and breakfast. And then maybe once in a while I would like sponsor my friend or something, and I was like, hey, you want some Starbucks?
Sponsor.
You know?
We had a babysitter.
We hired a babysitter to help us around the house. But we pretty much like wherever we wanted, like if we wanted clothes or shoes or anything like that, we would say, hey, Dad, just put it on the charge card, and we'll figure out later, you know.
Yeah, we'll pay it off.
And then later on, Costco approved us or whatever, and so
we furnished the house, because when we moved to that house, it was our first home, and we didn't have any furniture. We didn't have any furniture at all. We didn't have appliances, nothing. So we fully furnished the house, washer, dryer,
appliances,
beds, everything.
Just like all the all the stuff that
we updated the flooring on the house.
Yeah, different updates. Yeah, like my wife was saying, like we want to paint the house. Oh, okay, sure, let's paint it and put it on the credit card. We'll figure it out later. That was always just kind of like our lifestyle. But we were happy though, like I didn't feel stressed out or anything,
because we're both working and we could afford the payments, so we didn't think that. I was in denial. I didn't think that there was anything wrong with the lifestyle that we were living,
because it wasn't tight. It wasn't tight or anything, or like we were struggling. No, it was just like all the minimum payments were covered or whatever, and we just kind of like rolling on to the next month and just kind of like that.
By this time his student loans were about like $29,000, And
I didn't have to pay student loan payments because for whatever reason I can't remember. But I think if anything, I remember like my payments were minimum payments. They were like
20 something,
like $60 a month.
Yeah, it wasn't that much. But I remember we would have arguments about because he would tell me like we need to pay all this debt. Like we're just getting ourselves in this hole, and we need to pay the debt. And I told him, you know what? Look, I don't want to get rid of this lifestyle, but because you want to, he would always tell me, look, a debt that it's never gonna be beneficial to us is a car, because once you drive off the lot, that's the value of the car diminishes. So we have to pay off the car. That's one of the biggest debts. And I was like, you know what? I know that you want to do this, but I'm not fully on board. I think we can afford it. If I want to pay off the car in 2 years, I can do it. And I told him, you know what? Let me start giving higher payments on the car. So I think it was like for like about like 6 months maybe. I gave $1,000 payments on the car, just so I can pay it off and not deal with Jose making me feel bad for having a expensive car.
Yeah, liability.
And then I remember just one day waking up at 4 a.m, and I felt God talk to me, and he said, I'm gonna use your finances today. And it was 4 a.m, and no one else was awake. No one else at the house was awake. And I remember hearing that. And when I heard this voice, I said, I started getting all these memories of when Jose kept telling me we're not good administrators of what God has put in our hands. This is not ours. This is God's. And then I remember at church we were doing the first steps.
Yeah, we're doing a first steps course, and then in that course it talked about biblical stewardship, and one of the verses that really like impacted me was 1 Peter 4:10. It says, as every man hath received the gift, even so minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of God.
Yeah, and also I remember reading Proverbs 22:7, and that's why we decided to name this video series Happy Slaves, because it talks about how when you borrow money, you are a slave to the lender. And we were slaves. We were happy slaves, but we were slaves.
Yeah, the reality is that, like the Bible says, that the borrower is slave to the lender, and that's true, and that's what we realized. And I was like, when I first started to really look into the Dave Ramsey lessons and teachings and all that, that's when I was like telling my wife, like, hey, we need to do this plan. We need to get through this plan, because we're pretty much giving our money away, and we're pretty much making all these other companies money, and we're pretty much like their slaves, and they're just like,
now we have to work. We have to work all these weeks, and then all this money goes to them.
Yeah,
all this money goes to them, because if you think about it, the interest on those credit cards is like anywhere from like 13% to like 25% on those credit cards.
26 and plus.
Yeah, so you really become a slave. Also, Proverbs 6:1-5 always really spoke to me when like, I'll put it right here so you guys can read it. But it just really spoke to me, the parable of the talents, and how out of 38 parables of Jesus, 17 talk about money, stewardship, possessions, covenant, and I remember just that I had this moment where I said, you know what, let's do it. Let's sell the car. Let's give. Let's follow the steps. Let's follow the baby steps.
I couldn't believe that she was that.
He was like, for reals? You want to sell the car?
Yeah, I was like, really? Because by this time I had looked into the Dave Ramsey baby steps, and then I bought, or I don't know if I bought it or I just thought I listened to his Dave Ramsey's book, and that book really changed my mindset and the way to look at how to manage your money. And so one of the things he said that impacted me was that like the rich people, they don't buy liabilities, they buy assets. So meaning like they buy things that make them money. You know, so I was like, so that he was saying like and then that's when it, like I was thinking, oh man, like this car, you know, really we're gonna be paying all this money, and at the end of the day that car's only gonna be worth maybe a third of what we bought it for. That doesn't make sense, you know. That doesn't make sense. And so and then I would look at my credit cards or even my student loan debt, and I'm like, man, like when I graduated I only had $20,000. That's how much I owed, and now I almost owe as much as I owe on my car at that time. So you know, that's what, you know, changed my mindset on how to look at debt and everything. So
this calling from the Lord to pay off our debt.
Yeah, and to get out of debt, to follow the steps.
To be good administrators of what God has put in your hands. So we hope that this video was a blessing to your life, and we will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Happy slaves, no more.